Alright, we're rolling. What are your thoughts on this, Greg?
Seemed to work pretty well. You saw what we chipped. That was a stick up to 3.5 inches in diameter. Most of them were about 2 inches or so at the base, and it ground them up without hesitating hardly an instant ever. I don't think the engine ever slowed down out of comfortable running speed. And, the sticks got ground up. I like how it ground into 8 pieces and also finer stuff too. Because for mushroom growing, what you want pieces for, you want fine pieces in with the coarse stuff so that the mycelium can travel through the culture better than a solid pack of fine stuff, which doesn't get enough air and stuff, or just big chips gets too much air. So it's a nice consistency, I think, for mushrooms. I was impressed with the thing though. That trailer, this must be like about a cubic yard or so, maybe a little bit less, I don't know. And it only took us a half hour once we got the thing going, right, the first time. Pretty cool. I want one.
When will, how long before you start using this for mushrooms?
I was thinking today, right now, would be the best time, but we don't have our spawn yet. It should be coming in a week or two, so I think my plan for this is to take it and spread it out someplace, probably in the woods, maybe a foot thick or so that it doesn't start to heat up at all, which encourages mold and bacteria and other types of biota growing, and we want to keep it like 75 to 85, which is perfect for mushroom growing, especially if the cultures we're keeping. And then when we get the culture, this is what we're going to use in our class. We'll probably let it down the night before and let it saturate it real well, and then let it drain out, and then inoculate it in the morning for the next day.
And when did you cut this wood? Is it just fresh cut, or?
Yeah, I cut it about a week ago.
Okay.
And interestingly, wood needs a time to die. You cannot take a live tree and put a seraphitic mushroom to grow on it because it grows on dead things. So it actually, in summer and at this time of the year, this might be too alive yet, although the big tree was probably too alive for another month or so. The ground up stuff, this is probably going to die faster, and then mushroom mycelia can colonize it. It's in the right state.
What type of spawn are you going to be using?
This is being box elder. You know, box elder, I'm coming to the conclusion, is really a good wood because so many different species grow on it fairly well. We for sure are going to be using wine cap and oyster mushrooms, pohu oyster mushrooms. Both of them are pretty aggressive, especially the wine caps, and they'll take this over real easily. But we could probably try growing shiitakes on this, and if we're lucky and have a high enough inoculation rate, you know, if you had a bed of something that was well inoculated, you could take a portion of it and mix high concentrations of inoculant into the substrate, and then it will stand to win the battle against molds and bacteria and wild fungus and things that are going to all compete to take this over. So if we can, like inoculating yogurt, if we can put enough inoculant in, then there's a better likelihood that it's going to outcompete the other organisms that are out there, yeast and molds and things.
So these chips are going to be used in your class?
Yeah.
And when's your class going to be?
It is going to be March 31st at the Jefferson
Area Business Center, I believe. Yeah.
It's going to be March 31st in the Jefferson Communication Center. There we will be inoculating these chips, probably with wine cap and maybe oyster mushrooms too, and maybe a couple other species. We'll also be taking the larger pieces of wood and making totem mushroom logs, which is, I think, a really good way to do it. And we'll probably do some drilling and plug filling too.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to be using oyster mushroom grain spawn and inoculating straw bales, soaking straw bales for a day in lime water solution, and then draining it and inoculating it with oyster mushroom spawn. Stands a very good likelihood of success if you then put it into a place, and the kind of place you want to have is a place that's going to have pretty high humidities and enough moisture for the things to grow, because number one cause of mushroom failure is it dries out. It only has to dry out once. You know, and if it dries out, it's pretty much dead. And you may get invasion from other species and molds as that colony is weak.
So people can sign up for this class and then get more information at sustainjefferson.org, right?
That is correct, yeah. So you can come to our website, sustainjefferson.org /NS and sign up for the gardening workshop. It starts at 8 o'clock and runs through 4 o'clock. And there's 13 different programs on backyard permaculture type things, mushroom growing, grafting, and what else are we all doing? A ton of good stuff.
And a workshop the night before. Yeah. Or not a workshop, but a evening of camaraderie and discussion.
Yeah,
Awesome. Thanks, Greg.